Anybody else coming? Huh? I mean,
I
we
haven't
can do
seen
it.
anybody.
Oh, I shot a note to Kathy.
I emailed staff again with here's the link in case.
Well, we sometimes get Kathy. Kirsten, I know it's very late for her.
Yeah, Kirsten said that she won.
All right, Twitch is up. No one sees you yet. You're muted. That's all right. Yeah, it was my bad on the timing for Tuesday. I didn't know. As you do in the crime-ridden Chicago non-suburbs. All right, hello everybody. Welcome to what I was going to say Torn Tuesday, but it's not Tuesday. It's Friday. It is a special results show, Middle Earth March Madness. I'm not a host, but I will play one today on TV. My name is Justin. I'm joined by Jim Wirt out of Atlanta. We're joined by Ann in Chicago, and we're joined by Chris, the founder in Middle Earth, co-founder. I'm sorry. There are legal rights to founders versus co-founders.
No, just got to recognize the others.
Not legal rights. I mean legal liabilities. Co-founder. If we say the wrong thing, he's just one of many.
Right now, Zelanan is watching this and just cursing at the screen.
We sent him the link. He can definitely join. They can all join.
That's true.
For a recap, this is Middle Earth March Madness. This is a thing we do every year, as many websites do, where we come up with brackets of things to vote on, and this year's theme is the best dressed in Middle Earth. So we took a bunch of costumes from Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, and y'all been voting on them for the last couple weeks, and this is the final four results of all the voting, and this means there's 2 more rounds of voting. Is that correct, Chris?
2 more, yeah.
2 more.
So
2 more rounds. This presentation Jim has kindly put together is the Elite 8, the Elegant 8, right? And then we're going into this the Final 4. It's a big
The fashionable 4.
Fashionable 4, and it's a big deal. It's had some last second surprises for those of us who had to pull the info. And it was drama to the max, just like the NCAA tournament. Gonzaga just eked it out versus UCLA.
Oh, that was tough.
Yeah, we have.
That was tough.
We have these items, these characters in their Elegant 8 competition. But yeah, I'm going to let Jim lead the way here.
All right. So, but before we jump in, hello everybody to watching. I see over 100 of you are watching either on Twitch or Facebook or Twitter. Now Periscope is done. Once again, the One Ring has lasted beyond another streaming service, as Twitter killed Periscope this week. So we're still live there. So Candace,
we are older than every single social platform, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
And we're older than. We're old enough to remember Netscape, and we're old enough for, and that was, but they came and gone. But what was the other? Oh, and Amazon. I think we compete. Amazon was just beginning.
Amazon did not even sell CDs when we were founded.
Yeah.
It was only a bookstore, and now Amazon did not acquire the book rights.
Really old. or anything.
We're very old, so very old. Ryan Hamilton, hello. This is just going to be group conversation. So post in the chat as we go through some of these results and we show you who's going to move on to the final four. We want to hear who you want to vote for. So here we go. Let's bring up the presentation. All right. So what are we looking at, Jim?
Yeah, so here we are. We started out with that whole bracket. We won't go through it all, but we're down now to the elegant or the elite eight. So these are the head-to-head matchups as we came into the voting that started 3 days ago. We covered this on the Torn Tuesday show, and they're coming out of 4 different regions. We had a human and wizard or human and Maiar region, of which our finalists in that region were Aragorn in his Strider outfit. I think he was the number 2 seed, against Éomer in his armor. He was a number 8 seed, I think.
World of men battling it out.
So the world of men. And as we talked about on Tuesday, we saw just a lot of armor survivors. You can even see some in the Elegant Eight. So if you shift over to the second region, which was Hobbits and Dwarves, or the vertically challenged region, emerging from those 16, we had Gimli in his armed ferocity against Pippin in his newfound ferocity as a knight of the citadel. So Pippin in his Gondor armament, his Gondor armor, were the survivors out of that round. That also saw the last of the Hobbit characters fall, because Pippin ended up, or no, I think it was Gimli took out Thorin Oakenshield. So,
yeah. What's interesting? What is interesting too here is, every race is represented in this elite Elegant Eight,
except for wizards.
Oh yeah.
Although you
lost the wizards.
Wizards,
unless you could call the Witch King sort of, but yeah, you're right. We lost the wizards.
No, Witch King's a human, but the Balrog is a Maiar. So indirectly, we still have the Maiars.
Jim with the deep knowledge of Lord of the Rings. Before we get started, chat room, I've put you up on the screen. Was there any surprises from the chat of characters that did not make it? I shouldn't say characters because we're talking about the outfits. This is the best dressed. So, we're talking about, it doesn't have to be Aragorn in that outfit. It could be anyone else. We just like the outfit.
Yeah.
Well, I remember the early discussion, some predictions that Galadriel is going to go all the way. So we see her still in it. And let's just see, how far she goes with this.
Yeah.
And I think a fan favorite is the dirty Strider. Like, the rough, rugged introduction, Viggo Mortensen in that outfit. I think most people identify, that might be one of the characters they're like, wow, that perfectly captures, that costuming perfectly captures what I would expect the Ranger of the North to look like, right? So
today on our social medias, we posted an unrelated question of like what unpopular opinion would get you knives drawn in your face, and someone on Instagram said Viggo did not pull off the transition from Strider to King. He and a lot of people agreed with him. Agreed with this comment that Viggo just did not pull off the transition to King.
Those are fighting words.
Well, he didn't make it. The King Aragorn did not make it. King Elisar did not make it.
Yeah, we had Dirty Viggo versus Clean Viggo, and Dirty Viggo won. I thought you were going to say that the opinion was that Stuart Townsend would have been a better Aragorn. Them would be better. Anyway, just finishing out. So we had Balrog and Witch King going head to head against each other in this round. Interestingly, Balrog is a CGI character, but there are plenty of cool Balrog cosplays out there. And then in the Elven category, so that was villains, and then the Elven category, we here's one of the surprises. Arwen had 6 entries, 6 different dresses.
Is it a surprise though, Jim?
I don't know. Did she take votes away from him?
I should have mentioned at the beginning, I haven't been able to participate in a lot of the conversations, but I think that's one of those cases where there was not one unified vision of Arwen.
Yeah.
Therefore, it dispersed that fandom out and never was able to capture the final victories against, I think the last round was against these two for both Arwens, right?
Yeah. Arwen went to head against herself at least one time, and a lot of times against her grandmother, Galadriel, who, like Ann said, is still fighting away in that region. So quick review. We've been through a lot of this. We'll just go region by region. To get into the Elite Eight, Éomer was going up against a really iconic Boromir costume. Lots of layers, great armor, swords and horns, and a really iconic costume with a lot of folks playing it. But and Éomer just squeaked out that win with only 51% of the vote.
Yeah. Well, both those costumes were incredible, and they both really showed a lot of the culture, of the group, the cities and the countries that they're from.
And as you pointed out, and you may want to beat this drum some more, and the stories behind costumes.
Right.
And so Éomer in his exile, sort of shielded against the injustice that he's receiving, and then Boromir on his entire journey from Gondor up to Rivendell and back.
And they tell a story of their cultures. That Éomer tells the story of Rohan with all the different markings, and Theoden did too earlier, but and then Boromir too, same. That's the Horn of Gondor. That's got history with it.
Yeah.
So I can completely understand why this was such a tight race.
It was a tight race. The other matchup, as we talked about a minute ago, was Aragorn against Aragorn. Dirty Aragorn against.
Well, this is what everyone was talking about on Instagram today. I mean, Viggo just does not pull off that transition.
He does look uncomfortable, doesn't he? He looks like he's the guy who got cleaned up and is uncomfortable about it.
100%.
Well, I mean, this would be an interesting comparison too between Gandalf the Grey versus Gandalf the White. A lot of folks kind of like grungy Gandalf the Grey more than cleaned up Gandalf the White. So
I don't like this because it's unfair because we're not voting on the person, we're voting on the costume. But his hair just ruins this outfit of the King Elisar. Like it just the beard, the hair.
Hair is part of costume. Hair is a part of costume.
Yeah,
I think this picture is what makes Aragorn.
That's straight out of Ralph Bakshi, though. That's Ralph Bakshi, like
but
a ripoff.
Perfect. It was a perfect moment.
So this was his introduction, the first time we see him. And the fans really agree. So this was one of the most overwhelming contests that we had, was with 70% of the vote going for Strider as opposed to Coronation Aragorn. So that set up this final in the human region. So this is where we are. Hey, Kathy's joining. Yay! So like we've done before, I'm going to just kind of scroll through some close-ups of costumes, as well as some cosplay pictures, a few that we've assembled, and that some that folks have actually sent in.
I think ultimately here, though, if it truly is costuming, it's my opinion, Éomer should win based on costuming, right? Yes, there's lots of layers, but there's not nearly the detail and the heritage and the history and all that goes into this armor. Costuming wise, Éomer should win. What do I think will win? Once you put in Dirty Strider, he's
I kind of agree. Chris, my criteria is always like, I look at these two and I say, which one do I want to know about more? Which one tells me a story that I think I want to know that story? And Éomer just, clearly nails that. But, Aragorn is such a fan favorite.
Kim in the chat room says Éomer's costume is clearly more technical and better looking.
Yeah.
But you can't say that the Strider costume doesn't tell a story. I mean,
True.
every smudge of dirt and stuff like that. I mean, the years.
It's not
and
unique
miles.
though. It's just dirty. Do you know what I mean? Is that you don't learn about the culture of the Rangers.
Right. But then again, he was trying to be invisible, and that's about as invisible as you can get.
Yeah, but that speaks to the fact that the costume is one of 1,000 versus Éomer's, right? Which is probably unique only to him. Built, made specifically for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, what is it?
So there we go. Shall we review?
Yeah, let's see.
Our first Final Four entry
I have a feeling I got a boo coming out.
is Strider. A pretty commanding lead.
Oof, people voting on the person.
That was gonna happen.
That was just character.
People voting on the person. Rude.
Hey,
Well, you know what? People
but
vote what they want, right? And this is all in fun.
Well, he was the first hero. I mean, and in the story, Strider's the first hero we really meet.
Yeah, that's true.
And it introduces an interesting conversation around, well, what, last year our March Madness was around scenes that we liked, and we broke them down into comedy scenes and great scenery and drama and so on. And it was a little cleaner to think about, well, which scenes did you resonate with?
Right.
With costumes, which is the most complicated and the most impressive versus which one tells me the best story versus which one would I like to cosplay myself?
And which one would the lay person even recognize?
Yeah. So there may be more complexity in this year's voting.
This feels like a personality vote instead of a substance vote. I mean, like Éomer, the chat room says Éomer's costume is definitely more technical and more beautiful. So people were just voting for the personality of the man,
which the costume supports.
Yep. All right, let's move on. Let's
into the villains. So this is how we got there. The Balrog defeated the voice of Sauron, who is a surprise, in some ways a surprise.
I'm sorry, another example of costuming and dedication to the details, where the only detail you had to do on the Balrog was make it look like fire and have a sword, whipped.
And
wings, right?
No wings.
Well, this was to answer the chat room. This was the Sweet 16, and Balrog defeated Mouth of Sauron, if you can believe that.
So Sweet 16, and with a heavy percentage.
Yeah. So that's this current contest that we're about to go is not what you're seeing on screen right now. So
we're just kind of reviewing how we got
there.
Yeah.
And then the other round in the Sweet 16 was Witch King against Witch King. And in this case, the Twilight Witch King against sort of the classic, let's go fight Éowyn to the death Witch King. And again,
a tangible Witch King.
Yeah, pretty well, as tangible as the Witch King gets. Yeah, but a compelling victory for the Pelennor.
There's a slight Batman logo going on in his face, isn't there?
That's true. So maybe a little of that. So this was the villains final. Again, I'll scroll through, but who's going to win this one?
Hannah in the chat room says the Balrog is clothed in shadow and flame. What more could be more awesome than that?
Yeah, they both have a challenge from a costuming point of view, because clearly that helm that the Witch King is wearing has got to be a challenge. For the Balrog, you just don't know so much about it that you really have to imagine some of it. And we've seen some wonderful Balrog cosplays.
Yeah, so we'll look at some of the cosplays.
Oh, look at that. I love that.
The little Witch King. Oh my gosh.
But I think we've talked about before is those gloves or those articulated, hand coverings have got to be difficult from a costuming point of view.
We've had to create one of those for one of our Dragon Con parades.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that mace is pretty impressive.
So they both have challenges for different reasons. Because again, with the Balrog, you've got to imagine.
I love the child.
There you go.
Wow, that's great.
So there are some interesting Balrogs.
There's some really
Look at that
stunning
showgirl.
Stunning.
That showgirl Balrog. She won an award for that, I believe.
Right?
Yeah, Richard Taylor gave her an award
Uh-huh.
that she would go down to New Zealand because of that dress or that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dress.
Here's the thing. I again wasn't participating in the last conversation. The Balrog's cool and can have some cool cosplay. It is not. It shouldn't have made this far. It's not a costume.
Just like the Oliphant shouldn't have been in there, but he was.
Right. And we were picking at straws.
I disagree.
They had a chance to take something out, and they took the dwarven women out who actually did wear costumes.
There you go.
But Chris, I disagree with that. The Balrog has been cosplayed by many, many people over the years. It is an actual costume cosplay that people make an effort
But
for.
this isn't the cosplay March Madness.
It is. It's the costume March Madness.
It certainly is.
It literally is.
It's the movies.
No, that's not what you said. You said it's the costume contest.
All I know is
All right, so
we better not have another boo here because
I want another boo. I'm waiting for the Balrog to go to the Final Four.
What does the chat room think? Before we reveal the winner, who does the chat room think wins? Post in the chat. I will say this: when it comes to the Balrog's costume, we had visual effects supervisor Jim Rigel has been a big supporter of the One Ring over the years. He's been to our Comic-Con panels and he's been on the Torn Tuesday. He said the hardest effect to pull off in the whole dang trilogy was the flame and the fire skin.
yes. Technically challenging a computer. Agree. It is not a costume.
So you want to know
A single voter with that argument, Chris.
You want to know the secret? You know what the flame in the Balrog is? It's an actual sterno flame that he filmed at home. The fire that you see on the Balrog is from a sterno, little cooking oil.
Every time we entertain, I have the Balrog underneath my trays.
Yeah, yeah.
Amazon, if you're listening, Balrog officially licensed sterno.
Put us out of our misery here, Jim.
All right. So yeah, incorporate sterno into your cosplay. Don't
Well,
try
I
that
have a
at home.
feeling you're gonna have trouble getting to some.
Oh, thank God.
So the Villain Region champ with 54%, pretty good margin, is indeed the Witch King.
Thank
In
God.
the Final Four.
I think people finally realized, I think I can make that one, but how do you make a Balrog?
Hey guys! I just want to say, Chris, the chat room agrees with you. Candace says exactly not a costume, but I have to correct you. Kirsten is in the chat room right now. The maester of all things, and she says Justin is correct. It is cosplay March Madness.
Wait, she said Justin is correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
You
I
better
know.
put that on a plaque on a
Take a
t-shirt.
picture of that screenshot.
Screenshot.
That might even be a tattoo, Justin.
I want to put April 9th, 8:43. Kirsten. Justin is
Next time-
correct.
The next time we get together, Kirsten's gonna have to wear that on a shirt.
Yeah.
Justin was right.
All right.
Lex in the chat room said questions. Justin is correct. Thanks. I appreciate your support, YouTube.
There you go. So that takes us to the Hobbits and the Dwarves.
Yeah, this wow, this
So
bracket
this is-
was tough.
I've
This is how we got
always
to our-
yeah. What do we have in here? What's the elite eight?
Yeah. So
We had
Sorry.
Thorin versus Gimli
Yeah,
and
so how
Merry
we got
versus
here-
Pippin.
yeah. So Sweet 16 was Thorin against Gimli. So our number 1 seed against number 4 seed, and Gimli prevailed with a fairly high percentage.
Yeah, I think that's attributed to Lord of the Rings versus The Hobbit, honestly.
Yeah.
I think this was our introduction. Remember the nostalgia of the first representation of the dwarves that you really get the character and everything. It's Gimli in the films, and it's just so iconic. So
Yeah, he sort of set the culture. You're right.
Right.
Yep.
Which continued with Gloin. We didn't even get into the contest. And then we had the Battle of the Hobbit Armor.
Mhm.
Pippin versus Merry, in their Rohan versus Gondorian armor versions. And
Yeah.
Mary fell Pippin in that one.
Yeah.
By, again, a fairly wide margin. So Pippin comes through with his oversized,
What do
used to belong to
With his
Faramir.
Faramir costume.
That's
Yeah,
it.
but what do you think? I think this came to potentially the affinity of folks, and maybe this is not, and this is just me perceiving this, but the affinity of the white tree.
I think too, his song while Denethor is
Yes.
eating, is something people
My
remember.
favorite scene that got eliminated last year, I was so angry about that. The Feramir Charge.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're still,
Yeah.
Yep, that's holding a grudge for a long time.
I'm still sore about that.
Maybe next year.
But the Rohirrim charge was kind of epic.
Actually, you're
because
right,
the
Yeah,
eagles
but-
flying, the soaring over the lighting of the fires.
But I think too, Mary just didn't have as big a role, whereas Pippin was, very central to
Yeah.
that.
Well,
So
and Billy Boyd has the loons, and I marshaled the loons. So there you go.
Mary does stab the Witch King in the back of the leg.
this is
He
true.
does.
And
But Pippin saves Faramir.
That's true.
So here we go.
So here we go. So yeah, what do you think? It's Pippin, armored Pippin against Gimli.
Oh golly gee willikers! I think the Hobbit's going to win it.
I don't know. I think that Gimli is iconic. That just says dwarf head to toe.
yeah, it's the first time we saw it on like physical film. Like the first time I felt like, again, most of Peter Jackson's work, in my opinion, jumped off the page. Like it was what I envisioned. I often say that. And it comes to the dwarves like this. I actually think the Hobbit dwarves were almost too far removed from this, like fancied up.
Yeah,
They
Owen
were
and
more-
Owen and Glowin were the only two that looked like him.
Right.
But I think they were more Hobbity, more like the Hobbit book,
Yeah.
which was written a different way.
Yeah, but the interesting, and this is a costume point. The challenge in The Hobbit was to come up with dwarves that you could tell apart from one another.
right.
Yeah, you had 13
Even to
doors
their-
you had to be able to tell apart.
Even to their silhouettes. And so
Right.
you couldn't have 13 guys that looked like this.
And when you're talking about all the different tribes, that there's at least 7 different tribes with 7 different kings, they're all going to be slightly different. They kind of have to be.
But I
Um,
think too, I think you're right, because this was Gimli throughout all 3 movies. And he was the only dwarf, in that set of movies.
Yeah.
So I kind of
The
think
fact that
Gimli
he
takes
had
it, but we'll
5
see.
different axes was kind of cool.
Kim in the chat room says, Kim says Gimli should win this, but he's not going to because, again, people are voting
gonna
for their
win.
favorite character.
I don't think I agree Gimli should win. Pippin, on the other hand, though, the costuming is you had some nice close-ups there.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
Pippin's costume. It's not Pippin.
Okay, it's Pippin in Gondorian armor.
Yeah. Yeah, the cross belts and stuff like that was pretty darn cool.
Right.
There was one that you
Back.
showed his pockets and there you go. I mean, look, it's a pretty complex costume.
Yes, it is. And it's beautifully made. It's prettier than Gimli's, because it's Gondor.
Next
Yeah.
time we have Dom and Billy on the show, I'm going to ask them who they think is the best dressed.
I have a feeling they won't be biased at all.
No,
They were there, though. They were there.
Bilbo on his birthday.
I think I can tell you right now what they're going to say.
I
What
meant
if we-
that's
Just go to it now, Jim.
Okay, here
Okay.
we go. So any predictions from the group?
Everyone says Gimli should win, but it's going to be the Hobbit.
I should let Chris talk about this because as of early this morning,
Gimli was winning.
But by the end of the voting,
Ooh, by
The
64
hair of his
votes.
chinny chin chin.
by the
Wow.
hair of Pippin came.
This was a dramatic shift. It made us have to actually work up to the end of the deadline, which is when you're volunteering is tough to do.
Yeah.
Wait, so Gimli was winning until this afternoon?
This morning he was
This
winning.
morning,
Okay, so
Galadriel was
everyone watching at home, this next Final Four and then the final championship, it's really important to tell all your friends, vote, vote, vote. Your last minute vote can matter.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Justin, that your forehead is moving back and forth in the
I
screen.
know.
Right?
It's sort of like a turtle swimming back and forth across a river.
No one can see that. I'm hiding that.
Okay.
Basically, Pippin just upsetted UCLA for an incredible Final Four win.
Yes.
Right.
And last second shifting of fortunes.
He was the Gonzaga of the Final Four.
Yeah, I'll accept that
I don't
characterization.
know.
No, because it's not, the Final Four hasn't competed yet.
Yeah. So, but here's
So he was the
thing.
Gonzaga of the Elite Eight.
I would
Or
argue
the
that,
UCLA of the Elite Eight, because the UCLA was the come from behind team.
well, and that takes us to the Elven region. And for me, Galadriel was my number one seed across the whole thing. I think Galadriel is my Gonzaga.
Whereas I like
Wait, wait. Okay. Glad it was your Gonzaga. Gotcha. Okay.
Undefeated.
So we
Although
got
she's a number one seed. Well, they were the number one seed.
So Galadriel was our last number one seed alive. She went up against Arwen in this iconic blood red.
That's the worst outfit of all the Arwen outfits, and I'm ashamed
But it's also
that
the most well known.
oh, it's so gross.
And the riding costume are the most well known.
It is the laziest of the Arwens. That is
Laziest.
It is not the laziest. It's quite lovely, and
It's an elaborate dress.
So
Chris should know.
Galadriel, yeah, Chris should know. We don't have that picture.
Oh, that's too bad.
you guys
We
don't
did.
know
We
what went
did.
into measuring Chris to make sure the dress was the right size.
On Tuesday, we did show a picture of Charwin again.
Oh, good. I'm
wait,
glad
Galadriel just won?
No,
Yes.
Well, she
Oh, no, we're
This is
going.
the Elite
Galadriel
Eight.
came through. She was in the Elite Eight up against the blood red Arwen.
Oh, that was the
And then
last
The
round.
other bracket was
Right.
Legolas.
Oh,
up
okay.
against Arwen's riding outfit, and Legolas won that. one.
Those are I gotta give it to Legolas, man, because both of those are awesome elvish costumes, but he just had a little more technical details.
Yeah.
And
I
also,
kind of agree with Chris's point that there was a lot of Arwen, and it was just really hard to focus on, her costume because she had many.
That takes us to Arwen against Galadriel against Legolas.
Mm-hmm.
What are we thinking here?
so if I remember the early days, everyone was dressing like Legolas.
Yeah.
Everybody. Like
Yeah.
that was like every single person who would cosplay was cosplaying Legolas.
Mm-hmm.
This outfit.
Particularly when
Yep.
he got the arrow holder that had the peacock on it.
Yeah.
I would see amazing renditions of that particular item.
Yep.
And I also remember the early days, the first few years we did March Madness, we had to ban Legolas and Sam from the contest because they kept winning.
Yep. And then Galadriel, the challenge here in this round, in my opinion, while extremely amazing, intricate, detailed, gorgeous, everybody in their right mind would, every woman would want to wear this, like as a
Mm-hmm.
whatever wedding gown. It's amazing, right?
Yeah.
But it doesn't connect necessarily as popularly across women and men. You see the cosplay for Legolas, it's women and men. It's not just men. It's not, there's a huge.
Very few of the dresses are being worn by men.
Correct.
Well, but I think
A
too,
lot of
this
the
one
women
tells
are
a
wearing
story.
the men. A lot of
This
the
one-
women are wearing male. They're cross-dressing.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's much more common.
And so
Galadriel's dress was beautiful, but Legolas tells a story. There's a lot going on with him. He's a woodland elf. Clearly his costume he's lived in those clothes for a long time. It's very functional. He's got his arrow quiver, right where it's ready to go.
The double
So,
blades, the white
Yeah.
blades.
so, his costume as a costume tells me a story.
But Galadriel's going to win.
You think?
Galadriel's is beautiful.
I do think, yeah, I do think Galadriel's going to win. She is, after all, the queen and the white lady of the.
There you go.
Is
What
it
does everybody else
functional
think?
though? Is it functional though? Come on.
It's not supposed to be
Can she
functional.
walk barefoot in the woods? Yes, she
Yes.
absolutely
You
can.
just ask if a
Can she
bear
pour
shat in the
herself
woods?
water?
What?
Barefoot.
Barefoot.
Oh, I'm
What did I
sorry.
say?
I'm
All right.
That's
Chris is
Let-
being silly.
Chat room. Who do you think won? Number one Galadriel. Number 6, Legolas. Kim in the chat room says both costumes are detailed. Legolas is functional. Galadriel's is beautiful. Both divine their characters. I think this could go either way.
Yeah, well, and you're right. It's the definition of the character. This is the first time we see Galadriel, and she's been talked up, and the costume delivered.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true.
For sure.
I mean, it literally glowed. The entire realm just glowed. So, not on a costume can do that.
know if she will win.
Let's just see.
That's how they talk when they're.
when you're talking to a whale, right?
And coming up after the break, we will reveal the winner.
But you just get on with
Here
it.
we go.
Hey, no,
Here we go.
no. The break is this. Amazon, if you are listening, I have a message for you. It's free promotion. Name the Sears Tower Orthanc for one day. Sears Tower has naming rights right now. Name it for one day, Orthanc, as part of a promotion for the Lord of the Rings show.
There you go.
There's your $1 million promotional idea. That ends our break.
Okay. All right. There's our.
And welcome back, everybody, to Torn's Middle-earth March Madness results show. We're about to see the Elves final, Galadriel versus Legolas. Drum roll, please.
Okay, this was another one that encourages voting all the way to the end.
Oh dear.
As Chris will tell you,
Flippy floppy, flippy floppy.
it was
This
neck and neck.
This one flipped within 30 minutes of the ending of voting.
And here's where
Wow.
it flips.
See, I vote the very first day.
Candace,
There you go.
wow.
It's the same margin.
It is the same margin.
Wow.
This is why we banned him from some of the March Madnesses.
I don't, in this case though,
Yeah.
it was it's a toss up, really, it was a toss up. But I was again blown away to see the last minute. I mean, this was the last minute, essentially.
Yeah.
Wow.
Flipping.
We almost had a Legolas Gimli.
The chat room does not like this.
Spider.
The chat room does not like this outcome. Tammy says no. Candace says Galadriel's costume is the story you want to discover. She rules.
Here we go.
But we could have had the three, isn't it the chapter name? Anyway.
Oh yeah, the company of three. Yeah.
Yes, the company of three.
Hunters. Yeah, we could have.
All right, so
Anyway.
this is your final four. This is the final four matchup. When does voting start on this round?
Oh wait, I'll launch it right now. Hold on. While we're in our little discussion.
Or the fashionable four.
Yeah. How long does this round last?
Fangorn 4.
This one goes to Sunday, right? And then we have
Goes
the
to
2
Sunday.
days till Tuesday.
April the 11th, 5 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. 5 p.m. Pacific.
Okay,
8
so
p.m.
Sunday. All right.
Wait, the voting will end April 11th. What, Sunday? Is that
Yeah,
Sunday?
that's Sunday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey,
So
go
the final. So
go
the
back.
final ends on Tuesday, and we can announce it on Torn Tuesday.
Let me see those 4 again.
Here we are. We're back.
That's oh, come on. Aragorn versus the Witch King. Witch King's gonna win that. He is a man.
Oh my
I'm telling you,
God.
Aragorn's going to win that one.
Aragorn's going to destroy. It's going to be 75% to 25.
Not at
You know
all.
what? Aragorn's a man, and we know that a man can't beat the Witch King.
Oh, well, if we do have voters actually following the rules of the books,
This is true.
Which
Remember
means
this-
Pippin has to win, because Pippin is also not a man.
No women in the final four. This is woke
Oh,
culture
that's
One woman
suppressed.
in the final 8, so
Rude. Was it? Did Snyder Cut fans just like raid our contest? What's going on here?
Now we've got this epic battle between Pippin, beloved Pippin, and Legolas, and we all know that there's some crazy fandom between both of them.
No, look, hey guys, we have to make sure that the Witch King gets the votes and Pippin gets the votes, and we know what happens at the end. Pippin.
Yeah.
Pippin prevails. Okay.
No.
Hobbit stabs him in the leg.
Wrong Hobbit, but yeah.
It is the wrong Hobbit, but again, he's the only one that could, because
Can we just take a moment to pause and just, it is clearly going to be Aragorn versus Legolas.
I think so too.
And it's
I think it's
clearly going to
Aragorn,
be,
Legolas.
and Legolas is going to be our champion. I'm predicting
somebody
it.
had Gimli in there.
I know.
Nadia, I'm with you in the chat room. Nadia says, I would have loved to see Thranduil in the finals. He deserved it. Of all of the contests to put up, the costume contest and Thranduil not here is rude. It's just
that was like 3 rounds ago, dude.
It's inappropriate. Thranduil is the best dressed. He is the best dressed.
This was the road to the final 4. So that's who Aragorn took out. But let's go to the elves, because we can see how Legolas got there, and he took out
His own,
in round 2.
he took out his dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had an easy first round. Figwit.
I would have loved to have seen Thranduil and Galadriel go at it toe to toe.
Yeah, serious.
Yeah. But
Actually, let me just be clear. Legolas is clearly winning. Look at this. Look at this.
Look who yeah. He got past, that's the toughest. I mean, Elves was a tough bracket.
tough bracket. So here's who Pippin had to get through,
Pippin had a cake time, except for Gimli.
except for Gimli.
Yeah, Gimli was the real challenge.
People
Wait,
in
so-
people in
I
the
don't
chat
know,
room
people
saying,
loved, Bilbo's bathrobe. So,
yeah,
I don't know.
that was
But
nice.
yeah, that was a little bit easier.
Aragorn got through who? Let's see. Or I'm sorry, Strider got through. Beorn was cake. Faramir's tough. No, he had a tough one too. That's what I'm saying. It's Strider versus Legolas, and it depends on whose fandom's gonna take over, and it's Legolas, in my opinion.
Mhm.
Meanwhile, I will marshal the loons.
Well, let me ask you this. We're voting on this in the year 2021. If Amazon's show is really about Sauron distributing the 9 rings, if the Witch King turns out to be Russell Crowe, this makes sense.
That's
like-
only
He
if they
won't be Russell
announce in the
Crowe.
next day and a half. They have to announce by Sunday for that to happen.
Yeah, let's not. I don't know. Let's see what early voting is. We'll check out early voting.
Voting is now online. If you go to theonering.net, share the link to all your friends and all your socials.
Oh my
Voting
God.
matters.
It is 50-50 right now with Pippin and Legolas.
Well, who was it, like 10 votes though, Chris?
No, we're up to about 50.
Yay!
Now, as predicted, Justin, Aragorn's crushing the Witch King.
No, what? All right, I'm gonna make sure the next 2 days are nothing but Witch King
Justin
content.
controls the social outlets, so we might have a problem.
Witch King all the time.
Crystal Dawson says, "I want to vote, but it says it's closed." Refresh the page, Crystal. Go to theonering.net. We've posted. Is it a new story or an updated story?
It's a new story. It's the first story. It might there's cache sometimes and things propagate and blah blah blah.
Oh yeah, Crystal is very far away. She's on an island somewhere in the south,
That little-
east.
But if
What do
she
you call
goes-
that, Justin? That little Bitly or
Yeah, the Bitly link will work.
that'll work.
Go right to that one too.
Kim Rudolph says she voted Witch King all the way. Good. That's what I like to hear.
I'm just mad that Sam dropped early.
I'm telling you, the Witch King character is going to be one of the most important characters in Amazon's billion-dollar series.
Well, then that will be part of next year's Middle Earth March Madness.
Hopefully.
Yeah, that has nothing to do here, dude. And by the way, let's choose let's choose the vote. I'm going, it's clearly.
Pippin.
You're thinking Pippin's pulling it out.
Yeah, Gondor.
Pippin's going to beat Legolas.
I don't think
Gondor.
so. I think
Halflings.
Legolas is going to win.
You know what? I'm going to DM the Billy and Dom right now to.
Marshall there, fandoms.
Jim, who do you think's going through?
Of these four, I think my preference would be for Strider, but I think that Legolas is going to win.
Yeah.
No, it's got to be Witch King versus the Halfling. That's what I want to see in the championship.
But we could also
games.
have the future king of Gondor against the steward of like the outfit of the steward of. Or like, how do you want to describe it? I don't know.
Steward, he's not a steward. He's a prince. Prince of Mirkwood.
It could be for Gondor.
Right.
Well, he's talking about Pippin's wearing Faramir's armor.
Yeah.
I will say, so let's just take a step back from a
Early voting. We're up
I
to about
think
100 votes real quick in.
Okay.
The Witch King, I think from a costume point of view is great, and Legolas from a
Should I
costume.
do it? It's a FedEx label, but should I do it in
Mute, Justin. You got to mute, dude.
Yeah. Say that again?
You were mute. You were not muted.
Over here, please.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I'm still at work.
Except
So
for the fact that I went grocery shopping because nobody told me that this was happening today.
So I really think from a costume point of view, Witch King and Legolas have the best costumes of these four, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to win. I still think Legolas is going to win.
Yeah.
But those are good costumes.
Early voting is showing, well, now it's shifting a little bit. Pippin has taken the lead.
I'm telling you.
Yeah. So
anyway, for those watching at home, like this is going to be a close matchup, as you can see. Fans are hotly debating this. So create all the memes, use all the GIFs. Let's make sure the person that deserves to be in the championship, the Witch King and the Halfling.
By the way, should we be worried that we do have from the last round a good chunk of Russian Federation votes?
No, that a lot of fans are over there.
That's true. That's true. There are a lot of fans over in the Russian.
Yeah, when you get 10,000 votes in 45 seconds, then I'd kind of worry.
That's not happening though, thankfully. But yeah.
Relatedly, guys, we've got breaking news from Twitter. Let's see your reactions. I'm gonna bring you up all on screen right now.
Is this real?
This is real. In a new interview, a major AAA actor says he's such a big fan of Lord of the Rings, he reads it at least once a year.
AAA, what does that mean?
Like A-list superstar actors. So
The Rock is an A-list, like he's the most popular actor in the world. Okay.
So take your guess on a well-known, very respected, longtime A-list actor who says he's such a big fan he reads Lord of the Rings every year.
And Ewan McGregor?
It's not Stephen Colbert, huh?
Well, we already know that.
Give us an age range, please.
Over 50. Over 50.
And a nation?
And Christopher Lee is dead. So.
He's American, and he's been in the Marvel Universe.
Oh.
Sylvester Stallone.
Ooh, that's a good question. No, it's not, but I would love to know that he is.
Robert Downey Jr.?
Ooh, that's another good guess. No, that's it, but you're getting closer.
Over 50.
How about if you just show it?
Ruffalo.
Jim, your guess.
Samuel Jackson. No.
You're even closer in age range. It's confirmed in an interview that Bruce Willis is a huge Lord of the Rings fan.
Wait, what's Bruce Willis in the Marvel Universe?
Who's that in the Marvel Universe?
He's not in the Marvel Universe. That was a throw.
Misdirect.
That was a misdirection.
Where's Anne, by the way? You just got rid of Anne.
I think she froze.
I was
Yeah,
just saying, dude, Bruce Willis has not been in the Marvel Universe. The only one that actually
The
fits is
fifth element sort of counts, but not really.
Sylvester Stallone would have been a better one.
So if Bruce Willis is such a huge fan, I know my mom would absolutely watch Amazon's Lord of the Rings show if he was in it.
So where would you cast him?
Hold on a second. I love Bruce Willis. I love Bruce Willis movies. But have you seen his recent work? He's not doing a lot of great movies anymore. I don't think I want him in the Lord of the Rings. Sorry.
You don't see him. You don't see Bruce Willis as a quality king of men that is corrupted by the ring.
I mean, I could, but I have a feeling there's something going on with his acting chops as of late. and hi, Ann.
Well, choosing a film and the acting you do, I mean, if you choose a bad film, no matter how good you do, that's the film you're in. And it can't be saved because the film is a bad film, or the director is a bad director, or the script is bad. I mean, it's not.
Yeah, but you could also be a bad actor.
This is
Okay,
true.
so I missed the whole reveal. So who was it?
Bruce Willis.
Not in the Marvel Universe, by the way. It's
Yeah,
Bruce
not in the
Willis.
Marvel Universe.
I know, I messed up. I was thinking of Kurt Russell. I'm totally brain dead.
If it was Kurt
Wow.
Russell, I'd be much more excited, by the way.
Yeah,
Really?
because he's also he's an epic Santa Claus.
He's amazing.
By the way, I just learned today that Kurt Russell's son is Captain America.
Where have you been for 3 weeks, dude?
He doesn't look like Kurt Russell.
Oh, he
Kurt
certainly
Russell,
has
when
the
he was
job.
young, was really attractive. I mean, he's still a good-looking man, but he was a really good-looking actor as a young man.
Yeah.
All right, so so if Bruce Willis reached out to Amazon and said, "Get me in the show,"
Is he gonna say yippee yay?
to Sauron, I will scream in excitement if he did. I would love that. I would just piercing a freaking mask.
Yeah,
Sauron!
Yeah, have him be Isildur, and that could be what he says as he cuts the fingers off.
Yeah, but in truth, Cecilia in the chat room has got it correct. He has got the right temperament to be a leader of dwarves that takes a ring.
Durin.
Okay, let's just pause for a moment. Bruce Willis movies in which he would be considered for any kind of acting award. Go.
Say that again.
Bruce Willis movies in which
Death Becomes Her. He was amazing in Death Becomes Her. Best supporting actor.
I'm sorry, but I love was it Red?
So good. He's so good in Red.
I totally date myself and remember Bruce Willis from Moonlighting.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I watched a movie on Netflix has like randomly weird shows with A-list people.
Chris, you are totally discounting his work with M. Night Shyamalan. Sixth Sense.
No, you're right.
I'll say The Sixth Sense. He was really, really good. It was and that was a good movie.
Like, not just Sixth Sense. Didn't he do another movie with M. Night?
Highly
I don't know.
possible.
Well, yeah, Glass.
He's the Glass. And
Glass.
Unbreakable.
Unbreakable. You're telling me that.
You're right. No, you're right. I'm giving you it. You're right. I could change my mind.
Thank you for agreeing with Kirsten that I'm right.
Oh my God! Twice in one night. I don't know.
If there's a 3, what's going to happen is Beetlejuice is going to appear. We're all going to go into a crazy madhouse.
Where's Cliff?
We're also in Pulp Fiction.
Cliff never wants to tell me I'm right.
Pulp Fiction.
Unbreakable. He's amazing. I could totally see Bruce Willis as a dwarven king who gets corrupted and gets angrier and angrier.
Our luck is he's such a huge fan. He's watching right now, and he's now cursing me. So.
Fifth Element. He's been in some iconic.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Fifth Element.
That is the most amazing movie. One of my favorite movies of all time. That's right.
Yeah, that one is darn good.
Die Hard is great.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of good Bruce Willis movies. I just don't know. Well, I don't know. Maybe I think you're right. Temperament.
And then of course you got the Sin City. So he's done graphic comics.
Yeah.
But I love Red too. I love the Red movies. G.I. Joe, not so much.
Let's go back to suggesting Kurt Russell participate in the
He's too. I think he's too much. Because I think he's too much Kurt Russell. Like, I can still get lost in a Russell Crowe acting performance.
Have you seen Kurt Russell as Santa Claus?
Actually, I just thought of it.
I will say, one of the things that I thought was genius about the Lord of the Rings movies, at least, was they didn't take these big name actors.
Yeah.
They found really great actors that, weren't as well known, and they were outstanding. I much prefer that than having, a bunch of A-listers.
But here's a good one. In my opinion, Lord of the Rings casting. This is sort of like Ian McKellen was known and well liked, right? Before Lord of the Rings.
Christopher Lee.
But they pushed him over the edge, right? For popularity. Yeah. The Tom Hardy. I would say he's an unknown to most, yet he's
a very great chameleon.
He's a chameleon in everything. The what's that one on the British one where he's the anyway, it's amazing. Yeah. And he would be an amazing actor to cast in Lord of the Rings because he would push again that chameleon nature into any role that they gave him.
Yeah, he could play human, he could play dwarf, elf, whatever. Although he's a bit short, so I would put him in the dwarf or man category.
Well, I agree. But back to Anne's point, I think that was the right choice, the right choice at the right time for Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings. Also, it was a budget issue because they have to make 3 movies on certain budget. Amazon, all the money in the world, ungodly amounts of money, they can get whatever they want. Do you think the TV show needs a couple A-listers just to get your mama and your grandma to watch?
No,
but you know what? You kind of needed. Okay, so to make Lord of the Rings really work, Gandalf has to be pristine. I mean, he has to be Gandalf and embody it, and Ian McKellen did that.
Right.
Strider comes on. I mean, clearly they got rid of the first actor because they were looking for something specific. You needed that character to work. And you needed Frodo, and you needed the kind of Frodo that you would sympathize with. You needed those 3 characters above all else to be absolutely perfect, and then you fill out around them. Christopher Lee as Saruman was just icing on the cake because he brought that kind of gravitas.
Now, I'm gonna be a contrarian here. I never liked Elijah Wood as Frodo. He was just wrong for Frodo. But I get it that I'm totally in the woods there.
Yeah, if you have a Twitter account, you can respond to our tweet today with the knives all pointing at you. Like,
Anne said that.
I'm just saying he wasn't my Frodo.
Well, they definitely went young with Elijah Wood. I mean, Frodo was 50 in the book, as opposed to Elijah Wood was like what, 20.
Yeah.
Did you like Martin Freeman as Bilbo though?
Yes, I did. He was perfect.
People were stunt casting him or wish fulfillment casting him like 3 years in advance.
Lindy in the chat room.
You talk about Elijah Wood, who was well known, but not like an A-lister. He wasn't going to be the tent pole that brought in everybody else. Yeah, same with Viggo Mortensen. He had been in movies, people knew who he was. So whereas in Ian McKellen, I think he was great, not because he was Ian McKellen, because he was as an actor, Gandalf. He is amazing. And he really became Gandalf. And I think that was more to his skills as an actor than just saying, oh, Ian McKellen is therefore Gandalf.
Lindy in the chat room gives a great point in a response to me saying, what gets your mama and your grandma to watch this? And the reality is, Lord of the Rings is handed down by generations. And she says
Yeah.
her mom loves the books and introduced the books to her. And I think we all have been introduced to the books from
By
our
a
family.
parent, yep, by a parent.
But the issue is, I mean, that's all true. And so we've grown up with the stories across generations. But the second age doesn't have that. So nobody's
There's so
reading
very
the
little of it, yeah.
appendices and the unfinished tales and Silmarillion. Not that they're doing Silmarillion, but so the idea that there should be, I mean, even if it's a small role. So I don't know, Father Christmas, Kurt Russell, if they figure out how to weave in Tom Bombadil somewhere in the second act.
There you go.
So he's not there long, but just there long enough to say, hey, I think
I want to see Treebeard and I want to see the Ents.
Yeah.
I want to see the Ent wives. I would love to see if this is when the Ent wives go walkabout.
I think, I hear your point, Justin, about, they have gobs and gobs of money, but I'll just reflect on what I tell my clients all the time. Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Exactly.
Yeah.
100%.
edit.
Yeah, you have to have a couple really good actors in certain key roles to sort of
And they
ground
do.
the work. You have to
And they
ground
have.
the
They've
work.
casted some very good, grounded actors
Yes,
Yeah.
agreed.
to represent their roles. But I think you do need the Ian McKellen. It's not Russell Crowe, by the way. You do need the Christopher Lee. You do need, in my opinion, Brad Dourif. Like, you need these
Yeah.
people coming in that embody the challenge here is, again, to your point, Jim, we don't know what they're putting in. So we can't define like, oh, Brad Dourif is like the perfect Wormtongue, like literally born to play that role, right?
Oh, yeah.
So ultimately, there is that big challenge. But I don't know how we got off of Middle Earth March Madness, by the way.
Because he just started looking at Twitter.
But I also think one of the things that Peter Jackson did well is he kind of built an ensemble of actors that were willing to work together. And you have an Ian McKellen, you have a few that are.
That's why they got rid of
very,
Stuart
very
Townsend.
strong.
Stuart Townsend was not a team player, and he wasn't gelling with the cast. And the reason these movies worked is because the cast.
Was it Kirsten?
The fellowship had to work together. The actors all had to gel. I mean, the four hobbits would hang out in such a way that it was clear the four hobbits were together.
And
read on screen.
And I have I can get a sense of what actors on Amazon show are going to be let go because you have not seen them in any of their fellow actors' Instagram posts. So there, you can tell right now from social media, which we didn't have back then, who's hanging out, who's going hiking together. Who's doing all that.
But there's another difference in this show versus The Lord of the Rings. Because with The Lord of the Rings, you had a fellowship. They hung out for the entire first movie, and then groups of them clustered together for the rest.
And there's a very good chance that the filming is taking place in multiple realms at the same time. So these people might not even be working together. Hence, if they're not working together, they can't take pictures of each other.
That's true.
I do think part of it was, that was pre-internet, not pre-internet, but, there just wasn't the social media presence. So they did a lot of filming out of sight. Without
Except
a lot of
Erica tramping around in the wilderness to find filming zones.
So I have to go, but before I go, I am going to share the current pulse of the voting.
All right, you saw the final four. It is the Witch King of Angmar versus Strider.
Yep.
Strider. Is it Aragorn or Strider? Because that's a Strider outfit.
It's Strider.
And so on that matchup, who is currently in the lead?
By 73%. By 73%, the Strider is winning. 73%. Strider is winning.
So you're telling me there's a chance.
And I told you, I would like to remind you, Justin, I said he would win by 75%.
Oh, we got monies on margins now? Okay, all right. What's the spread? All right.
He's giving away points.
$5 on the
next-
spread. I got 5 on the
The
spread.
next matchup was Pippin in the Gondorian armor versus Legolas in his classic Fellowship armor or outfit. And it is currently 54% to 46%.
Wow.
Who?
I'm sorry, did you got that? So yeah, so it's really surprising that because it's just
Stop it, Chris.
so crazy, right? It's amazing.
You are such a tease.
This is Sting. You've seen it before.
Yippee-ki-yay! Yippee-ki-yay! Oh, I'm
Get a
going
bunch
to
of
let
torn
you
stabs
go.
together and we're
I'm
crazy.
actually going to let you not know, and I am truly going to leave. But it's a close matchup. So
All right, share with your friends, share with your socials, post the link to the story on the onering.net with the voting, and voting goes until Sunday.
You just pulled that sword off your wall, didn't you?
I did. You want me to put it back? I'll put it back.
Yeah. You don't have a sword hanging around your wall?
No, mine's in the closet. My sword's in the closet.
So voting ends on Sunday. So tell everybody to vote Witch King, because the Witch King matters.
Oh, Pippin.
Pippin and the Witch King.
not matter. The witch-
All right, very good. Thank you all for joining us for this results show for the Elite 8 or the Accentuated 8 or whatever we're calling it.
Are we doing a Sunday show or not? Because it's going to be such a short little.
I'll let the chat room decide. Chat room, do you want us to stream the results on Sunday night? Post in the chat. Everyone in the chat room is saying Witch King 2021. Witch King needs to win. I thank you. Kay,
He's lying. Somebody go look at the chat room and see if he's telling.
I'll take a screenshot and I'll post that.
Sure you will.
Yeah,
Sure you
because
will.
Camille.
Photoshop.
Thank you everybody for joining us on Friday night on the internet here. Let's do it again on Sunday night. And thank you all for debating this. And we will see you again Sunday night.
Show. It'll be a short show. Right?
Oh no, we can talk for 3 hours. I promise you.
Clearly.
Yeah. Right.
Till
Bye,
next
everyone.
time. Bye.
Bye.
You guys.
Oh, that was funny.